Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So we have some breaking news. We have yet another school who is refusing to play against San Jose State University, the team that has a trans-identified male, the team that kept this information hidden, including from the person's own teammates. We have a fourth school. Yesterday I spoke about 3 schools have pulled out of a match against San Jose. They cancelled and just simply announced that they will not be playing against this team.
Yeah, so last week, I think when you covered this was right after Boise State had decided they were not going to play San Jose State. San Jose State has a player named Blair Fleming, who is a male to female transgender athlete, been on the team for a few years now, but we've discovered that San Jose State hid the fact that there was a male on the team, and they hid it, in fact, even from their own players for a little while. So Boise State canceled last week. Southern Utah canceled earlier in September. And then just now, last night, we got word that the University of Wyoming is canceling their match against San Jose State, which was supposed to be happening on October 5th. But apparently there's been a team meeting. They've decided that due to concerns for safety of their players, they are not going to participate in the match. So it's really become a movement now. It was a ton of traction on social media. Everyone was talking about it yesterday. Even the governor of Wyoming, Mark Gordon, came out and said on Twitter, on X, that he was highly supportive of the team's decision not to play, and that he is all about fairness and safety in women's sports. So it's definitely catching on, and it's something that's not going to go away anytime soon.
Some people in the comments were saying, I hope this catches on. We were wondering if more schools are going to pull out, more schools are going to cancel. Well, already another school has cancelled. Now, this is Utah State University, and this school isn't due to play San Jose for another 3 weeks. So they're already cancelling. They're like, we're not even going to wait. We're not playing. They've made up their minds. This is wonderful news. I hope this continues to catch on. I hope more schools cancel. I don't know how many schools are in this Mountain West, tournament, but I hope all of them cancel, because this needs to stop. This needs to be addressed immediately. And these sporting bodies like the NCAA, these colleges who think it's okay to make their female players play with a male player on their team and compete against a team with a male player, they need to understand that without women, females, by the way, there is no women's sports. It doesn't make sense to disrupt the entirety of women's sports, whether it's volleyball, whether it's swimming, boxing, track and field. It doesn't make sense to disrupt women's sports to appease the feelings of a few individuals who are insisting on competing in the wrong category. It doesn't make sense. So without the women, without the females, you need to understand that there will be no women's sports. And this is what we've been waiting for women to refuse outright to compete against men, to compete against people who are infringing upon their category. So this is wonderful news. Utah State University have already released a statement officially on their website, and they said, Utah State University will not participate in its scheduled October 23, 2024 volleyball match at San Jose State University. The university will abide by Mountain West Conference policy regarding how this match is recorded, the statement read. And this is a huge problem for Mountain West. So this is something new for them. They're going to have to think about how they approach this. And at the end of the day, enough schools have pulled out for them to have to address this. This cannot be ignored. And this is the way to do things. This is the message that you need to put out there. We're not going to play against a team who has a male player. Once that message is made crystal clear, they're going to have to address this. They're going to have to basically get back to reality. And I don't feel bad for them at all. I don't feel bad for San Jose State University. I don't feel bad for Mountain West, the NCAA. They brought this on themselves. So I don't feel bad that this tournament has been disrupted and all the organizers are probably pulling their hair out trying to figure out what to do. I don't feel bad for them at all. You've disrupted the lives of the teammates of this person, finding out after the fact that they had been sharing a room and accommodation with somebody who is actually male. That's not right. Women who are in fear for their safety, after seeing this person spike the ball, women who know that they're more likely to be injured playing against this person. You've disrupted their lives. You've disrupted their sporting careers. And don't go blaming these young girls for hurting the feelings of the player in question. It's the people who have lied to this person who are to blame. The people who have gone along with this delusion that a male can turn themselves into a woman and fairly play in women's categories. The people who have gone along with that lie are the ones who are to blame. If you care about this trans-identified male, you would have told this person the truth from the very beginning. Figure out a way how they can play in sports fairly without infringing upon the rights of women, without taking from girls and women, taking scholarships, potentially, taking positions and places from girls, infringing upon the private spaces of these girls. Figure out a way they can participate in sports fairly without infringing upon the rights of others. That's what you should be directing your energy towards if you care about this person and people who are in the same position as this person. Figure out a category, a third category, or incorporating them into the category that aligns with their biological sex. It's very simple. Instead of putting all your energy into deceiving people and having all this secrecy surrounding this person, that takes a lot of work. That takes a big cover-up, a lot of coordinating, keeping up with these lies and deception. Instead of directing resources into doing that, you could have been directing your resources into making sure that everybody can participate fairly and safely. But you were perfectly okay for the women to be infringed upon. That's not right. I urge more schools to cancel, however many schools are left. And I will be definitely following this story closely. So we know that San Jose have responded to these cancellations at the time when Wyoming announced that they were cancelling. And they said that it's disappointing that our SJSU student athletes, who are in full compliance with NCAA and Mountain West rules and regulations, are being denied opportunities to compete. We are committed to supporting our student athletes through these challenges and in their ability to compete in an inclusive, fair, safe and respectful environment. You know, I've already given my thoughts on this ridiculous statement. The hypocrisy surrounding this statement. You didn't even tell your own team members, the female members of your team, that there was a male competing with them. You didn't even have the courtesy to tell the female players that they were sharing a room, traveling on the road and being in hotel rooms with somebody who was male. And to speak of fairness and safety and respect is an absolute joke. There's a reason why this team has the record that it has had periods of going undefeated. There's a reason for that. So the Mountain West Board of Directors, they will have to now consider if they're going to have to change the current policy, the current procedures, if more schools continue to forfeit. So there is power behind forfeiting, behind cancelling these matches. This is going to force their hand and it's going to make them address whether teams are allowed to have male players. If teams within women's volleyball can have male players, that shouldn't even be a question. Good. Men shouldn't play in women's sports. How is this so controversial? It just takes one team to take a stand and then others follow. Then it snowballs. This is how women get their sports back. We got a trend and a good one. And look, there are consequences to forfeiting these matches. That means that these teams are not going to have, an opportunity to have another win on their record, to progress, further with a win. They're going to lose that opportunity. And I feel for the females who are part of this San Jose State University team. I feel for them because they're not getting to play. That's what the university pointed out. But they failed to realize that it's their fault. It's their fault. You chose to have a male player on the team, to hide that information even from them. And these are the consequences. People have a right to respond. People have a right to react. None of these teams have called out anybody. They have just quietly said, we're cancelling this match and released a generic statement. That's what they've done. Women have to defend the female category. It has to be defended at all costs. Like I said, if we start blurring categories, start saying that people who identify as women can play in the women's category, that blurs the lines of categories. If we start doing that, there is no women's sports. Without those categories, we wouldn't even get an opportunity to play competitively in sports. So they must be preserved at all costs, not just for now, but for the future. We're thinking about our daughters, our granddaughters, great-granddaughters. What is their sports going to look like if this continues? It doesn't bear thinking about. And we are aware as women that it's not just about us. Peyton McNabb, who is still recovering after being injured by a trans-identifying male in volleyball, the very scenario that many of these women are trying to avoid. She spoke about how she's thinking of her little sister who's starting high school. I believe she must have started by now. She's thinking of her younger sister and her safety. She doesn't want what happened to her to happen to her sister.
Had you been concerned about the strength of this individual before the game?
Yes,
okay,
very much so. But we couldn't just refuse the game since it was a conference game, so we had to continue to play them, even though none of us wanted to. So it was definitely.
So during warm-ups, right? You're checking out the other team. They're on the other side of the court. What did you see, and what did you think of that player's performance?
It was obviously a lot different than what we've been seeing the rest of the season or the rest of the years I've been playing. I was very used to it, though, at that point, because he's the same age as me, so we played together all 4 years against them. But I just remember seeing how, like, the fear, and especially our younger players on the team who've never played against them before. Wow. So just seeing how scared they were, it was really heartbreaking.
Yeah, and I know you were telling our producers earlier that this means a lot because of your little sister and your cousins and your teammates who are continuing to play. How did this affect you? Were you planning on continuing to play the rest of the year? Were you planning on using this as possibly a scholarship for a college?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely wanted to play my last year, and there were opportunities for scholarships to continue to play in college, which is what I would have liked to do. But due to this, I was no longer able to get those opportunities.
So it's not just about us. It's not just about this game or the next game. What about the games of the future? So again, I absolutely commend these schools. I commend these young ladies. Keep going. It is not in vain. And people are taking notice. We're talking about it because you're refusing to play. It's as simple as that. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Like, comment and subscribe. Take care of yourselves, and God willing, I will see you in the next video.